Hello and welcome to Just Hoops. Dereck Lively out of Duke University is one of the most interesting prospects to me personally entering this year's NBA draft. The 7'1" big man has shown glimpses of being a two-way versatile interior presence and also being able to play outside both ends of the floor. I'm excited to dive into this film, but in terms of the stats last year, the 2.5 blocks and 66% true shooting were what stood out to me. But diving into the film, let's see what Dereck Lively brought to both ends of the floor, starting with the defensive end. First things first, at the defensive end of the floor, he had a tremendous feel on the inside, both as a help side guy and a primary defender, and just putting himself in the right positions to make plays happen, contest shots, and make it more difficult for the offense to score. In the half court, when he was on the floor, he held teams to 0.851 point per possession on 36.4% field goal percentage and 42.1 effective field goal percentage. He is a highly effective defender on the floor. You can see in some of these clips, just him being in the lane, it makes guys not want to shoot it at the college level. He was putting himself in positions to make plays more difficult. He did a really good job at walling up and contesting shots with his length and verticality rather than fouling and being inefficient as a defender. He wasn't the strongest guy, which is something we'll dive into later, but overall his feel, IQ, and cognizant ability of the game of basketball was what allowed him to excel at the defensive end of the floor and just be an all-around great presence for the Duke Blue Devils throughout this season. The way he was able to guard his yard, specifically at his position, along with being a great help side guy, just flying in at the right times and not fouling, made him one of the more valuable defenders at the collegiate level. Next, in terms of his defensive ability and attributes, being 7'1" with a 7'7" wingspan and an unofficial plus 40-inch vertical, he was a tremendous shot blocking presence for the Duke defense. The way he was able to fly in, time up shots, do this without fouling. He was one of the best shot blockers in college basketball, averaging over 2.4 a game. Just the way he was able to fly around and make these plays consistently on the back line of the Duke defense was what made him special and is what is making his name one of the best bigs in this year's draft. The way he's able to protect the rim and block shots is special, and I'm excited to see him do it at the next level. To throw some numbers out there, at the rim he held opponents to under 40% shooting in this area of the floor, making multiple efforts, being an elite athlete, and just making plays happen down here. Nextly, though, we got to talk about the perimeter a little bit. The way he was able to get out and contest shots from a help side standpoint and getting out to the three-point line with verticality, getting his hands up, he definitely found a way to affect shots consistently. And it was definitely something that I think he did a solid job at. There's ways to improve, which we'll talk about, but the glimpses are there for him being a solid all-around defender. And then even being able to guard on the perimeter, being able to get in his stance. He had stretches throughout the season where he was able to get in his stance, guard outside of his position, and make plays happen as a versatile inside-outside defender. In terms of the way he was able to guard with his speed, athleticism, length, he just has all these physical tools at 7'1" that allowed him to be so versatile. Yes, these only came in glimpses, but at the end of the day, these glimpses can translate to the next level with the spacing and the way that the NBA operates comparatively to the college game. I think he'll be able to switch pretty well 3 through 5 and possibly in short clock situations do pretty well against guards at the next level. The more he's able to sit in his stance, continue to develop in terms of being a 7'1" guy that could move like this, he has the physical tools already, so I think NBA GMs and front offices could see him easily developing into a guy that can switch 2 through 5 and possibly 1 through 5. Now to talk about improvements at the defensive end of the floor, I think he can improve upon his ability to guard on the perimeter, both in closeout situations and on-ball situations. He showed glimpses of being great at it, being a guy that can switch 1 through 5, 2 through 5, but he didn't show consistent effort in doing so. There were times where he had lazy closeouts, where he wasn't as fundamentally sound on the ball, not being in his stance, not being as active. I think going to the NBA, he needs to be more consistent with his energy and effort and just attention to detail as an all-around inside-out defensive force that he can be. To be as good as he can be, it takes high level of energy, effort, and attention, and something he can continue to improve upon. Next area of improvement comes at his position. He needs to get stronger and be more apt at guarding in post-up situations. He struggled in ACC play specifically against bigger, stronger guys. Yes, he is 7'1", 230 pounds, great wingspan, great athlete, but he was sometimes really beat up in post-up situations where guys that aren't even bigger than him were able to carve out space due to their strength advantage. He needs to get stronger. I trust that he will be in a situation where he will have an NBA strength and conditioning coach with him that can make him as good of an athlete as possible. If he continues to get stronger with his already God-given abilities, I think that he has a chance to be one of the most dominant interior forces at this end of the floor that we can see in the NBA. Now to go and talk about his offensive game, it all starts with him being a vertical spacer. The way this man is able to be a lob threat, a roller, an offensive rebounder, just a guy that works the porch incredibly well, does a really good job at finding space as a roll man, finding cracks and openings in the defense to make himself available, catch, turn, and finish. He does a really good job with his hands at catching passes thrown his way, whether they're lobs, whether they're pocket passes, whether it's a direct chest pass to him. He has great hands, a great ability to find the ball and finish these plays consistently. In terms of his shot profile, at the rim, he shot 77.4% with 60 of 93 possessions at the rim being dunks. He's a great athlete, great length, great size, just does a great job at finding opening space and then capitalizing on these opportunities. As a roll man, he scored 1.525 point per possession on 85.7% field goal percentage. Just a great all-around roller, diver, screen setter, rim runner. Just a very traditional big man that has the athletic ability to just capitalize with force on these plays. We talked about it a little bit already, but he has an apt and just understanding for how to find cracks on the backside of a defense that not many guys do at the collegiate level, and that'll be a big skill moving forward into the NBA. And lastly, his offensive rebounding ability. He knows where to find space and openings like we just talked about, but those space openings, cracks in the defense, he's able to capitalize on with finding ways to gather offensive rebounds and finish those plays with authority consistently. And it's just another skill he brings to the offensive end of the floor. One thing we need to discuss is his basketball IQ and acumen. He does a great job in short rolls, offensive rebounds, playing out of the inside and finding his teammates. He's a really underrated passer in this draft for a big man. I think he is terrific at understanding where the help's coming from, where the open guy is. He's a very good passer for his position, in my opinion. I think that this is a skill that will just continue to grow at the next level with the spacing, movement, actions that he will be used in. And the way he's able to pass will also open up opportunities for him to get one or two bounces off of a ball fake to get to the rim and finish plays with authority like he has done and has shown us throughout the entirety of the season. I'm excited to see him continue to grow as a playmaker, especially in DHOs, just with the spacing and movement that the NBA provides. He has a really good IQ and feel for the game of basketball, and I'm excited to see how that can allow him to grow and prosper at the next level. And then to go to areas of improvement at the offensive end of the floor, it all comes down to strength, in my opinion. The way that he was not able to be efficient in post-up situations, catch, turn, finish with hook shots, get to the rim on drop steps, just because he wasn't physically strong enough to make these moves happen. He got bodied down low both by bigger and smaller guys, just needs to improve this area of his game, become more physically apt to take on matchups in the post, score when he can get a deep steal. Just because he wasn't able to do that efficiently at the college level is definitely concerning, but I think as he continues to grow physically into his body, become stronger, I think he'll be fine at scoring in these situations in the long term. And another thing with his strength, he needs to be stronger with the ball. There were some situations where he did get it on the interior and there was traffic and he just wasn't able to hold on to it and make the right play out of it due to just not having the strength and physical abilities to maintain the ball through contact and make the smart, under control decision even when being bumped on the interior. Dereck Lively was the #1 prospect in his high school class. He has a ton of upside to him, a ton of talent, ton of physical potential, but at the end of the day, it's up to him working and living up to it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, learned something about Dereck Lively and his game prior to the NBA draft. For more content like this, please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll catch you in the next one.